What's the journey like to go from first MMA fight in 2014 all the way to the UFC? Where do we see you now?
Empty pockets for sure. I fought for free for many, many years and went through so many ups and downs that obviously builds you into the fighter you are today. Many people will take the easy route. I was never the most skilled, never the most like athletic or skillful or smartest. But man, I had grit, I had determination, and you cannot kill someone who does not quit. And that's me. Like I've in my whole life, there's nothing I've quit at, nothing. And I will go until the wheels fall off. And anybody, I remember there was all these guys I looked up to, and were all in the regional scene with them, and you know they would always be doing so well, and they're just that wee bit in front of me, and I thought to myself, I'm getting you, I'm catching you. But then what would happen is I would surpass them because they would maybe have kids, and it would become easy just to say, no, I'm going to focus on the kids, you know, which is fine, but that ain't going to be me. I'll never quit. And, you know, I've surpassed them and did better than them. And, you know, I've fought guys who they have fought and beat them in tremendous fashion. I thought to myself, you know, I've done myself some good justice here, you know, and just powered on, but I will not quit. And, you know, I'm on the run, and I've never stopped being on the run. And people take breaks and holidays. I took a holiday with my missus in Cyprus, and I had 4 days off complete training. And since then, you know, I've learned that, you know, these 4 days off are quite important. But before that, I'd never taken a day off.
Pedal to the metal.
Yeah, so those 4 days, you know, after one of my fights was a realisation that maybe a rest is good, you know.
I think one of the worst feelings you could have when you get to your deathbed is not exploring the potential you've got.
Yeah, for sure.
And the way you're speaking there, you're like, say we've got this till that's filled with Chris's potential. You're just wringing every last drop out of it
Yeah.
by that graph period. And I think a lot of people want to look in the mirror at the end of all that we've done in our lives and be like, I gave it the best shot. And I think if we join the dots between MMA debut in 2014, fighting for free for years, and then being the guy that wins 50 G's in a fight, it's a lot of pushing to get the absolute most out of what you've got.
Of course. I'd be quite happily, and you know, I've built my amazing family. I've given birth to 2 amazing children, met my amazing fiance. I could literally, if I was on my deathbed, I would be very happy right now with what I've achieved. And probably throughout my full life, there's probably not been a day went by that I haven't given my fullest potential. So I don't feel that, you know, like people say, you know, in many years to come, you know, I'll be happy. I'm happy now. So I'm giving it my fucking all. I have no plan B. I have nothing else but MMA. I wake up, I think about food for MMA, think about recovery. And well, even when I wake up, you know, I'm like, recovery, you know, like silly things like consistency of getting up in the morning. Like I get up at 6:30 every morning with only because I've got kids. It would be 8 o'clock if I didn't have kids, but they're up at 6:30 every day. And I'm like, okay, this is good routine. Might not be like what I want, but it is routine. It is good routine, and routine's great. So, you know, I am happy with what I've accomplished so far. And if it was ever to become like, say, I had some sort of illness and I had to go, I'm happy with what I've accomplished so far. And, you know, it's only going to get better because I'm doing the same thing. You know, I'm on that same track.
You said fighting for free in the early days, so of course means you have to maybe do your PT on the side.
Yep.
Hosted Big Sinky in the same seat as you. Stirlington Players, and he mentioned that you did a few shifts for him as well.
Yep.
What is the reality like as a fighter in those early days where you're having to just put bread on the table through some other means?
Yeah. So I've always resonated with the saying, you know, you have to do something now to become something that you want in the future. You know, like sometimes you've just got to, I call it feeding the cat. You know, you just got to do it every single day. You need to make sure that you get up, you feed your cat, and then you go away to work, you know. So you have to be prepared to do something in the now to become something in the future. Because money makes the world go round. Everybody talks about money. Money is involved in every part. You know, you need to buy this microphone, this bottle of water. You know, it's just the way it is. So I was always willing to do what it takes to get to where I am. And one of my friends, Robert Dempster, I've already given him a shout out about the same thing. I lost one of my fights. I had to go back to work for a little bit, just because the way that the UFC pay you, it's quite cutthroat. You know, you get half your money if you lose and stuff like that. So I had to go back to work, and I was a bit butthurt about it, you know, and I lost a sponsor, not because I lost, but because of loads of things that happen in business.
Bro.
Yeah, a wee bit. And I was a bit pissed off, and I was venting to him. and he goes to me, you know, he's very successful himself, and he goes, listen, you would pay any sort of money to be in the position you're at right now. So, you know, put it in the back burner. You felt a bit sorry for yourself. Let's move on. And it really like sunk in, like a guy like that, just, he's obviously in a completely different line of work. And I thought, you know what, you're right. And I got over it. And the good thing about it is I went on holiday with my family to Disneyland Paris, and I completely forgot about it. I got back, I felt fine. I was like, okay, time to move on. And the good thing is, when you lose a fight, you think everybody's going to judge you, but they don't actually care. Records are for DJs, and people don't care about your losses. They only care about your wins.
See, fighting the level you're at as well, and if you look at anyone who's fought at the top level of UFC for even a short period of time,
Yep.
you come up against other guys that maybe have a great day, or somebody lands a freak punch, or you get a freak injury. The statistics and the kind of surface area of luck, you're going to lose at some point, even if you are a great operator.
Totally. One of my friends, Grant Dawson, who I train with in America, he lost a fight. He's probably one of the best guys in the gym. And he goes, I didn't get into the UFC to have an undefeated record. I got into the UFC to become a champion. So, like, well, that makes sense. Like,
but it's great you've got people around you that are saying these things to you. So, your mate Dempster and your mate there that's telling you these things. It's good to have people in your corner that can give you both a harsh truth, but also like a helpful lesson too. Too many people have like yes men in their corner that are like, oh, like you could have been sulking after losing that sponsor and having to go back to work. Whereas you got somebody that went, look, life happens, bro. Like, you need to crack on here.
Yeah. No one's going to do it for you. You know, and I think it was obviously amplified when I lost. See, if I won, I wouldn't even have cared. You know, you've got the cash in your pocket, you're not caring. So that was just amplified in that stage, you know. So it's good, like we said, networking, meeting these people, having a conversation. That's how I met that guy, just over a phone call. And, you know, it's like rolled into this amazing friendship that we have now. So, you know, it's these things really are set out to test you, and you just get on with them, you know.
I hope you enjoyed that clip. For more on my channel, hit the link just here, subscribe, and you can enjoy the full episode.